And good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another day of Overwatch League APAC action. I am Achilleos, back on the cast alongside Avril as per usual. We'll be kicking off the day's matches. We have another action-packed day here for you. And I think just one more team left to see within the region. We're going to see them in the very first game. Chengdu Hunters going to be going up against the Guangzhou Charge.
The only team that we haven't seen yet. I mean, Chengdu have had a very interesting off-season, as I'm sure we'll discover. Mostly returning faces, one new player coming in as well. But, you know, we got to look at the Guangzhou Charge yesterday. They did win their opening matchup. Bit of a hilarious moment on that second map, I'm sure we all remember. But otherwise,
some ups and downs.
Strong-looking start. Yeah,
well, we'll see if they've kind of learned from the silliness that they encountered yesterday and try to steer around that, try to avoid it. We'll also see how the Chengdu Hunters look, because, of course, it doesn't really matter who's on that team. Leave is still there, so I think that they're very much still a force to be reckoned with. But we'll have to just wait and see how they look once we get into the server. For now, then, let's go ahead and introduce our first team. It's the Guangzhou Charge. Alrighty, and there they are. Let's see what the starting five looks like here today. Starting things off, looks like we're going to have Farway and Unique back on the supporting lineup. Choi Se-wan develop on DPS, and then it's Rio. We did get to see Krong a little bit, you know, every now and then, flipping back and forth between the two there as far as the tanks are concerned. But with Rio in, likely is pointing towards some Winston play, at least in the first map.
Yeah, I think Rio had quite a performance yesterday as well, to be honest with you. Yeah, okay, a bit of a meme with the 100% deadlift on that Route 66, but at the same time, I think his opening map was pretty fantastic. He definitely left quite a bit of an impression on me. A lot of people slept on Rio in the offseason, like, oh my goodness, they're keeping Rio, what are they doing? But he's actually been playing super well. Krong coming in for that Zarya as well was really interesting, but importantly, you know, we're going to get the same DPS line. Choice of one was so damn good yesterday, and Charge are going to need a lot of firepower up against the Chengdu Hunters today, who, as you mentioned, Leave, well, he stayed. Leave stays on the team. The MVP, the reigning MVP of the previous season, still here alongside the usual favorites. They do lose out on the other two supports of both Yveltal and Fireway, who now is on the other team. Molly, by the way, is also on the other team, an ex-member of Chengdu. So a couple of ex-Chengdu guys on that Guangzhou roster that Hunters will now have to play against.
We'll see if they're going to be playing with some spite, try to take down their former squad, if they're able to do so. But yeah, I mean, everybody on this Chengdu Hunters lineup still very, very scary in their own rights. Leave especially so, but we've seen just stellar moments from everybody else that is on this lineup, including Jinmu and Gaga in particular. So they're definitely going to have their work cut out for them. Guangzhou Charge, you know, definitely not the easiest time of it. The second map aside, you take away Route 66, it was still a decently rough ride at certain times there versus the Valiant. They're going up against the Chengdu Hunters. They're going to have their work cut out for them. We saw some snafus. We saw some iffy moments in the team play there from the side of the Guangzhou Charge. We'll see if they have tightened that up and are prepared to try to take down Chengdu here in this first match of the day. Here's our map set, though. We'll be kicking things off in Coliseum, then move into Dorado, then King's Row, and if we can go past that 3-map point, we'll see Oasis and potentially finish things out on New Queen Street.
I mean, you look at Coliseum, that was also the opening map for Guangzhou yesterday as well. They managed to push 121.51 meters versus the LA Valiant. So anytime you can get above 100 meters in a single push map, you're having a very good time on that map. You're having an extremely good showing. I will be looking out to see what Chengdu are playing, though, because we know the compositions for the Charge already. They revealed most of that yesterday. What is going to happen on the Chengdu side of things? Jinmu, it's a Genji meta. He's a Genji player. Leave can also be your Genji player, right? They don't have a Predator on this team anymore, so hit scan plus Tracer, likely not an option. Going to be starting out with Leave on the Soldier. The only issue with this is, if Chengdu want to play Soldier Tracer, they do not have the comp to play that with. Gaga also coming out on Doomfist.
Okay, we've seen really only the Doomfist in desperation so far here in APAC. Has been the most locked-in pick when it comes down to tanks right out the gates. We'll see how Gaga pilots this as we jump straight into the action. Choi Se-wan Getting a little bit low. Gets anteed out, but play safely around the corner. Get top back up here as we just have the initial skirmish. Block getting ready to unlock right now. Dive goes into the back. They're looking for Faraway, but somehow they do not confirm the kill. And Gaga, after getting slept and anteed out, he does get finished off by Unique. Good cover there from the co-support on the side of the Guangzhou Charge, and they will take first control of the bot.
And that's one of those kind of dives where Gaga goes in as a Doomfist, but Jinmu isn't quite on the same page, and very likely Gaga kind of goes towards the left side of things, not too sure where Jinmu was. Maybe they just couldn't quite connect on the eventual location that Fireway was going to be. Great peel from the Guangzhou Charge to keep their flex support alive, and they'll be able to maintain control early on with a leave kill as well. They can push even further.
Oh, Misha comes right back into the fight, does take down Develop there. A little bit of back and forth, though, as it seems like the Chengdu Hunters widely winning out in the fray so far. Rio falling low is going to try to make his exit. Looks to get a couple more shurikens into the back of him, and it looks like Gaga eventually does manage to hound him down. See that swap, though? Develop moving over towards the Sombra. Let me get your initial reaction to this one, Avril.
Well, you know, I'm not a fan, not a big fan, but what I can say is this to me is a reaction to Gaga's Doomfist specifically. Now, in Overwatch 1, Gaga would be left out in the cold. Like, you know, what are you doing? Your Doomfist playing against Sombra, you're going to have a bad time. In Overwatch 2, maybe not quite that bad. Choice one a bit of trouble here. We'll go down to Jinmu, and I mean, well, the DPS of the Charge, they're gone.
Yep, completely evaporated. Unique is still here, though. I mean, he's been putting up some solid numbers thus far. Feels like widely the support players on the side of the Charge have been coming up with the majority of the frags. This Gaga goes up onto the high ground. It's going to be slept yet again. They're looking to get the Bionade down onto him, but cannot. Faraway strikes first. Denies the healing. They pick up a kill. Yet another one going over to Unique.
Yep.
But now just going to be starting to get shoved back in the opposite direction. It's still fairly close margin so far between the two teams as far as the distance that has been picked up. Rio has the Nano Boost jumping around the back, trying to lock down these supports, but that sound barrier comes up from Misha, trying to keep everybody alive, and Jinmu does not find anything with the blade, instead gets cut down by Choice They Want at the end. Buck now fallen. It's Rio with the primals, looking for another target, drops right down here onto Leave's head. Looks to get that kill. He's going to pursue a little bit further. The peel will be there, but it's still going to be the Charge maintaining control.
Yeah, Jinmu finding not a lot of value onto this Genji currently, not able to land on dives with Gaga at all, swapping over towards the Reaper now. No Zari on the side of Chengdu to really support him, though Rio's gone super deep, and here comes Choi.
Yep, Choi with his blade already finding so much value, cuts down to as Monk and Leave exit the fight. Gaga now going to be taken out as well by Develop. The bot contested for the moment. Won't last too long, though, as Jinmu has got no HP and the Wraith Walk will run out. Faraway claims another. The bot will continue ever upward on this ramp.
About to hit that checkpoint there as well, so forward spawns will be enabled for the Guangzhou Charge in short order. Not a lot of tools here for the Chengdu Hunters. I mean, yeah, they will probably be engaging with this visor. No support with that visor. It will just be dry. Lands on Faraway. That's target number one.
Yep, spotted him out. Was not scouted. Gets a nice little early pick here to start off the fights. Looking for Unique. He won't be able to get it, but Jinmu is there for the alley-oop, so they still get the kill. A couple members of the Charge well into the back lines, just playing right outside of the Chengdu Hunter spawns. Do get cleaned up. Bot starts rotating back, but it's plenty of time for the reset and recontest here. So the Charge have ample time to try and deny any progress.
There's no healers, though, so they're going to be a little bit careful here. See that Developers maybe looking for a flanking angle, do a little bit of initial damage. Chengdu are like, okay, we do have to wait for Monk and Nisha here. Importantly, they stop Charge from getting the checkpoint, so Charge have to get the back spawns instead. It's going to allow for more of an even fight. Double EMP catch.
Yeah, catches two, but Gaga's still managing to exit with a Meteor Strike, trying to stay alive. Has to pull well back around the corner to try to get topped up. He will be able to do so. Dives into the back line here. Choice A1 just dashing away, keeping himself elusive. Make sure they can't get locked down. Looks to re-aggress as the Nano comes out. Rio diving forward, has the Primal Rage to rely on, so he doesn't really mind that he's anteed out right now. He needs to play up the front, but in the end, it's going to be exchange on these Anas. Monk and Faraway both fall down. They're looking for a little bit more, pushing in. Leaf cannot sprint away fast enough. Ends up falling. Nisha also in a bit of a bind. Manages to stay alive at least for a little bit longer, but the bot, in the meantime, is actually getting pushed.
Yeah, I mean, Nisha doing a great job staying alive there. Is going to regroup with the team, but like you said, the payload, the push bot, has him increasing a little bit of distance here. Choice wants the kill onto Jinmu, secures another 5v4 scenario for the Guangzhou Charge, and at this rate, I mean, there is double support ultimates online for Chengdu Hunters. I mean, where is this Nano going to go on next? They could just throw it into Jinmu on the front line. otherwise they don't really have a lot to work with again. They can just maybe try to look for an engage with sound barrier as well. In either case, they're the ones that need to fight for control because we're running out of time.
Yep, it is on the Jinmu. Gaga again going to be taking a bit of a nap. TP's into the back. The sound barrier is there from Unique to try to keep far away live. I'm going to say Death Blossom is now available. Doesn't have to use it to confirm the kill. Just takes down the Ana naturally. Looks now for Rio. It's not getting too much peel. Does manage to find a support before he falls. As Unique will get picked out of the sky. The bot now starting to advance over towards the Guangzhou charge side of the map here for Chengdu Hunters, where they still have 21 meters they need to make up in.
Now, the problem is they do lose Monk again, so every single one of these, pushing drives that the Chengdu Hunters make ends up being a 4vx situation, despite winning that fight. Now, Farway's back with Guangzhou, but Monk is still kind of on the way, so they have to regroup. They've given up payload control again, and that's the issue with kind of pushing into enemy territory, right? You can't really lose anybody, because no matter what, you're going to end up in a deficit.
They don't manage to gain anything realistically there. Just a couple extra meters. Still working at a deficit. Gaga hacked off screen, down to a sliver of HP. EMP comes out, manages to catch 3. Choice A1 is there, gets the finishing blow. Tank now gone on the side of the Chengdu Hunters. Jinmu doing his damnedest to try to clean things up, but here's Choice A1 with yet another blade. Right in on top of the Reaper, and he will get 3 for himself. These have just been massive. Some of the best success that we've seen from the Genji Dragon Blades period so far in APAC. Now the bot is going to be advancing. That forward spawn is just a little bit away.
Choice of One, definitely one of the more exciting Genji plays that we have in the region. Unfortunately, can't say too much of the same for Jinmu. In his opening debut as Genji so far in the season, he's not been playing the Genji for the last, I'd say, 4 minutes, but at the moment we're now nearly down to the OT. Your star player and leave is already gone, so 5v4.
Yeah, Faraway just coming in on the flank, tags him with the Bionade. Easy shutdown kill. Bot's starting to shift back, but time very much is dwindling. Chengdu Hunters, they need to get control of the cart, and they need it right here, right now. Faraway tries to get that parting blow there on Denisha, but he cannot finish the job. Takes him down to just a sliver of HP. Now they're still going to be functioning as a full 5, and Guangzhou Charge are starting to lose members desperately here. Choice A1 does get picked off. Unique answering back, finds Gaga yet again.
Nano available for the side of the Guangzhou Charge. I mean, they can clean this one out. We're nearly into the OT, which, as has been described in the past, pretty difficult for Chengdu, the losing team, to make a catch-up on. The good news is they only have about 20-ish meters to get there. They have their full team available, plenty of ults to play through as well.
Yep, sound barrier just a few moments away here for Nisha. Jump into the back, Choice A1. Just going to be nanoed up, but isn't finding too much of anything so far. Nisha goes so low, but he manages to get the sound barrier, but it's too late to try to save Jinmu. Gaga, though, with the Meteor Strike, comes back down, manages to claim the life of the enemy Genji. Primal Rage there from Rio, gets a couple swats in, but now is going to be left on the floor, sleeping. Far away, picked off. Unique try to keep everybody alive here, but Rio gets bursted down, and he's got to make his exit. Suddenly, it seems that Chengdu Hunters might just have been able to turn this around.
Remember, the push bot has to slow down as it goes. If it actually makes this cap happen, which maybe it doesn't have to, I don't believe Guangzhou Charge actually capped on there, and that's good for Chengdu. That means they can actually make the full 65. We're nearly there. Someone has to touch. No one touches. We're completely even. Could this actually be a draw?
I have no idea how this would function. Everybody would have to step off of it simultaneously. But it seems like Chengdu Hunters might just have the advantage here. Rio now going to be anteed into the bubble. The bot is going to resume. He doesn't even have to move, and Chengdu Hunters will make the comeback a reality.
Okay, couple things. One, first OT comeback I've ever seen on this game. Second, they had the same meters. What? I don't understand. Like, I guess they just got like 0.1 more meters? That's crazy. So what actually happens is Guangzhou did cap the checkpoint on the other end, because an interesting thing about the push bot is when you cap the checkpoint, it stalls there for like a few seconds, right? It just, it checks to see if the water's boiled, if what's the time on the clock there, just get the newspaper out. But, it kind of happens on the other end of the OT when Chengdu push as well, and then you just have this kind of weird situation where the bot stays there. I guess it became unstuck. Chengdu won the fight. It literally went 0.01 meters, and they won.
Well, already, I mean, not quite in the same way as we saw yesterday, but already some bizarre happenings in our first map, in our first series of the day. But the Chengdu Hunters do manage to pull off the comeback there on push. We'll see if Guangzhou Charge can answer back as we get ready to move on to Escort, which is Dorado, and that is coming up in just a few minutes. It's already been wild. You don't want to miss the rest of it, so don't go anywhere. Alrighty, and we are back and just about to go into map number 2. Already some wild things happening there. What I think the first overtime comeback that we've seen in Overwatch League so far on push. So Chengdu Hunters, you know, they continue to drag people into the Chengdu zone. They're doing things that no one's done before, and putting up some solid looks. But it, again, similar, I think, to the series yesterday. Rough starts here for the side of the Guangzhou Charge. They get ahead a little bit, and then things just kind of start slipping from them a little bit.
Yeah.
Widely yesterday, they were able to grab back onto it and hold it for the win, but this time it just narrowly slips through their fingers. We'll have to see if they can tie it up, make it 1-1 on the back end of this next Esport map.
I think you will probably see this a little bit more often on a map like Colosseo compared to New Queen Street, because that specific capture point on Colosseo is so, I think, A, difficult to actually cap, and B, kind of difficult to hold as well. It's just a really weird part of the map, right? And if Charge actually won the fight, I'm actually fairly certain it would draw, because, you know, Vicky actually came in during the breaks like, yeah, you totally can draw on this map. And, I mean, who's seen it be such a rare thing? Drawing on push is so rare that likely you probably won't see it at all, ever. It personally has never happened in any of my games. That's why I was so surprised. But heading to Dorado now, important news is that Krong is going to come in for Rio. So back to Zarya, I presume, is what was going on.
I'll have to just take a closer look here once they do get ready to assemble the team. See what they have pieced together for us. See whether or not Gaga is going to be sticking with the Doomfist, or if he changes it up for this map here as well. See there on your screens, though, Guangzhou Charge overall have a winning record versus the Chengdu Hunters, but it's been a little while since they've been able to get one of those wins. And I'm fairly heavily stacked at the beginning of these two organizations entering the Overwatch League.
Well, you have the 2020 season where the Guangzhou Charge definitely had a, you know, huge upswing. They were much better than the Chengdu Hunters. They won a stage title as well. Krong was there for that. Then the Chengdu Hunters in the last season, 2021, was a much better team than the Guangzhou Charge. So they've both had their year of success now in a fresh start, fresh game and new season. We'll see which team will reign supreme with, you know, Chengdu having made cutbacks on their roster. Charge keeping some good pieces, adding some new pieces as well. We'll see how this goes now with Gaga on the Zarya. So I said maybe Krong would play the Zarya. It's actually going to be Gaga. Krong's on the Diva, which is a very interesting pick. I do think, yeah, you want some high ground, low ground control here, but you should have just kept Rio in to play the Winston, in my opinion.
Well, I am excited about this, though. As Lee picks up the Widowmaker. So far, it's just been finding the Shield of Unique, but Jinmu looks like he goes off on a flank, and we are watching the wrong DPS player, apparently, because Jinmu comes up with 2. 14 HP, and a Dream drops down, clips the wall, but does manage to get that Mega Pack. A little delayed on the Reflect to try to bounce that Bio Grenade back into faraway space, but he's just fully occupying this on his time. He even gets the kill on the back end, so 3 extended kills for him in that fight, and the cart is just steaming along.
And actually slowing down and not getting far away down straight away. He actually wasn't getting a lot of help. It looked like he was stuck in a very prolonged 1v1 versus far away. It's going to prevent the respawn. So huge staggered spawns. Guangzhou will struggle to regroup properly for a contest, and that means they won't contest at all. A clean run through for Chengdu straight off the bat. Talk some smack about the Jinmu Genji on the last map, but you know, he's come out in full force straight away in the new map.
That he has. Thursday One now going to be making his way over onto the Tracer. Develops, trying to match on the Widowmaker. See if he can find any purchase here as Jinmu tries to slink around the back, throws a couple shurikens over towards Choi Se-wan, but not going to find the hit. Instead, he might go look to harass Develop a bit. Make sure that they're denying him sight lines widely over towards the cart. Has been spotted, though. Poison Trap doing its job. Helping to really track the position of this Genji.
Speaking of positioning, this needs to be where Charge have the advantage, because they have the high ground control. They have the Diva in their favor. Chengdu don't have good high ground control. It's really just Jinmu diving up and leave if he wants a hook shot, but otherwise Gaga has to stay on the ground. Charge can dictate the pacing of these fights here, but they're playing super passive. It's like they're waiting for Develop to hit the shots first. It's not really happening right now. Finally, Krong will drop down, but look at where the payload is. There's been so much free pushing.
Yep, right up to the church doors here. Already so much space garnered here for the side of the Chengdu Hunters, and it's made even worse given that, you know, they got point A for free, so they already still have such a massive time bank working in their favor. Still just over 4 minutes remaining for them.
He's in spawn.
As Develop is way into the back. Choi Se-wan is here to try to help peel, but both DPS are now completely disconnected from the cart, which is continuing to advance forward.
Charge is just wasting time. They're trying to do stuff in the Chengdu spawn. Krong is, tiptoeing, diving in and out of the camp, but he can't really contest by himself. I think up against Gaga, he's even forced to self-destruct here. It actually kills Gaga. What happened there? Gaga should have bubbles to save himself. That's kind of weird.
Must have run out of it in the pulse bomb as well there for choice A1. Able to take down Nisha. Bubbles out of the way. Far away will find Leap, and somehow through all of this, Develop, while he might not have done too much, he didn't die. He didn't get picked off, even though he's playing out front of the Chengdu Hunter spawn. And now they clean it up, and now they will have that cart control with the high ground like you're talking about. So this is where they can really start to work down this time bank.
What is going on here in this game, Achilles? Because Charge look like they're floundering. They're not really setting up for any sort of fights. All over the place, completely scattered in terms of where their members are sitting. But then the Hunters just lose to a self-destruct from Krong that looked like it was forced from Gaga anyway, versus Zarya that should almost never die to a self-destruct and give 2 bubbles. It really doesn't make a lot of sense. Leave will kill Develop, so they get rid of that threat. It's a 5v4 now, and the free pushing continues. Charge again, not really doing too much about this payload.
A lot of people collapsing in, trying to look for choice A1. Sleep Dart not going to connect onto Krong. His way back up to the high ground safely, but the cart now makes its way through the underpass. There's going to be the Nano, the dive into the back, and Faraway completely vanishes in the blink of an eye. Jinmu carves up 2 kills for himself, looks for a little bit more. Will be able to take Krong out of the mech. The Baby Diva will not stand a chance, and it seems like that should be point B snatched up.
Oh, well, Krong can finally go to Zarya now. He can play the good hero. No idea why he's even on the Diva. I mean, I assume he wants to be on the Diva because you want that high ground, low ground control. But again, you should have just kept Rio in the squad if that was your game plan. Gaga's walking free with the Zarya at the moment. He's had that one death, but it doesn't matter. He's still holding up the grab. Use it anytime he wants to. Krong really just can't brawl at all. And Choi can't play Genji because he's got no support to play the Genji. If you had the Krong Zarya, you could actually support the Choice 1 Genji, which so far has been better than the Jinmu Genji, and then Jinmu wouldn't be getting value for free either. So it's all a big mess from Guangzhou, sadly.
I think what you're not seeing here, you got to look way into the future here, Avril. The game-winning grab eat is going to come through from Krong, and that will justify the deep pick.
True. That's right. That's
5 ults now ready to go on the side of Guangzhou. Charge still find an early pick as Nisha can take it down just a little bit too far forward there as the stick comes in. The bubbles are there. So, Zarya exists. So he just says, nope, not going to be killing my Widowmaker. Manages to save him. Krong, though, with the self-destruct, will find Monk. Ends up falling to Leave's headshot, though.
At some point, the Widowmakers have to get off as well. We're on cap C now. This is not the good position for Widowmaker at all. They're both kind of forcing it. I even think Develop's maybe getting baited into this Widow duel by Leave, who, if Develop just goes Soldier now, he actually gets a much better matchup. Once his infra sights are gone, that probably will happen. Someone should swap.
Rally's coming out now from the side of the Hunters. Advancing forward, Unique's matching. First one falling a little bit low. Leave, oh, got that shot off. Would have been beautiful. Doesn't quite manage to make it happen and has to relocate the grapple off to the side. Krong now pursuing in decently deep. Grab does come in, catches 2. Anti-nade goes out and Unique falls to the wayside. Krong tries to escape up to the high ground. We could have wrapped around and grabbed the Mega Pack, but doesn't manage to do so. Loses out on the mech, now loses his life. The cart will continue to advance. Charge so far, I mean, he's done a decent job of chewing up this time bank a bit. It's nowhere near as massive as it once was. Still have a chance to hold, but they need to find some purchase. They need to stop this from pushing.
Yep, well, not the greatest from Jinmu there, but there is a 1-for-1 trade. Bubbles are still available. No more ultimates waiting for the Nano from Monk. Leave's dead.
He cleans up too before he does fall. Can they work with this is the question.
Not the back
likely no. May have to be another reset, but as I said, that Develop will fall, and they do manage to keep Gaga sustained. Now the Nano Boost is available. They're going to continue to play forward here as they just wait for the reinforcements to come back in. There goes Jinmu. Let's see what he can do this time around. Strong, popping the bubbles, trying to keep himself alive. So far is not going to die, but as everybody else collapses in on top of the Zarya, he does fall to the wayside. Jinmu cleans up 2, gets both supports, gets the Widowmaker for good measure, and Chengdu will get the finish here on Dorado with 1 minute and 8 seconds to spare.
And Leave dies, but he comes back as a soldier, right? I think the call was to actually stay. It looked like maybe Chengdu were thinking of backing out. Gaga was losing position. They got the call. Jinmu's like, I got the blade. Monk's like, I got the Nano. It's time to make some combos, and they got that combo off. Krong took him about 7 minutes to go to Zarya. Dies anyway. Develops still on a Widow. Couldn't tell you why. I mean, you're in the last fight. He's literally sniping from spawn. Like, come on, brother. It's time to get off that hero. And Chengdu slowly but surely with 1 minute 08 remain and get the finishing cap. But I gotta say, Achilles, this is a very confusing map. The way both teams, but specifically Charge, are choosing to play this to me, was like a slow, inevitable loss. Like, you're just... B in particular, you got to rewind and look at that B again. You're just sitting there as a diva, your team's nowhere to be found, the payload's slowly pushing up, and you're just slowly losing B with no contest at all after already losing A with no contest. And even C felt like a slow no contest in many ways.
Yeah, I agree with you. It felt fairly inevitable that they were going to be able to get it to the end, especially just given how things had kind of begun. But Charge just really struggling to put together a solid defense. Everyone playing very scattered, and while they did drain that clock down significantly, you would have really, obviously, much rather have stopped it from making it all the way to the end of C. We'll see what they have for us, though, as Leave does start things off with the Widowmaker. Yet again, develop back over onto the Sombra. Choice A1 in the sky with the Echo, something that he was showing some nice proficiency on yesterday.
I would like it if it was just a scouting Sombra. I mean, developers walking through right now. Big problem with this Sombra, among the many problems with Sombra, is that there isn't actually any sort of dive combo that you can do, at least on Colosseo. Develop was soft countering Gargo's Doom because you can hack Doom out of the power block. That's actually a really good interaction that Sombra does have versus Doom. You can even work with Rio for dives here. It just doesn't really do anything for you at all. First blood onto Unique. That's the Mercy gone. Choi's got no healer, but he looks like he's okay.
Got caught out, didn't rush back over to the side of Choice A1 as he was drifting away from the Winston. Ends up falling. Wait for that reset. Let's leave front and center here, up on the high ground, waiting for someone to show their head and see if he can click it. Choice A1 and Unique going to go for a similar flank. See if they can find some picks this time around, try to open up the map a little bit more for the rest of the charge. As far away, under some fire, Krong fighting down to the ground over near the card. Choice A1 trying to make his way around the flank here. Bomb's not quite going to connect on the leave, and he cannot get that execute damage in. In the meantime, Gaga is just going to Goomba stomp Krong to death.
And you're going to see that more and more often as well, because Krong can't really get any help here. You have a Mercy permanently tethered to Choice Juan, who's on a big flank, so immediately you have 3 players not playing with the other 2 players. Choice Juan's trying to put the pressure to leave so that he doesn't die, Choi doesn't die to leave, that is. So Krong's sitting there solo pushing cut. He was synced for the longest time, and he's in a 1 versus 2 with Jinmu and Gaga. Yeah, Krong's probably not going to survive that. He has far away, but maybe he is just a little bit too far away. And again, you see just on the bottom left there, Krong stuck in the same 1v2. Can't push the payload any further. They finally got leave down. That's at least something.
Yep, they do get that pick, and obviously merciless comp here for the side of the Chengdu Hunters. Merciless comp for the side of the charge, as Unique is going to get picked right out of the sky. Jinmu just dashes through, finds that elimination. Josewan now going to be alone up in the air. And he's starting to get tagged low, and here comes the blade now from Jinmu. Krong already going to fall. Jinmu chasing forward. He just narrowly gets the kill there on a far away.
Forces the res as well, so that's actually a long cooldown. In some ways, I don't know if it'd be better to have waited for the respawn, but time is kind of running out here for the charge, so I guess they don't really want to do that. Maybe that is the right call indeed. We're looking towards some charge ultimates finally. This is going to be Krong's first grab. It's actually the first ultimates for most of these players. EMP is going to be an important one, I hope. We'll see how that one gets used.
Nano's out on Choice A1. Krong finds Jinmu. Pickups here as they're just trying to get the elimination here on the Leaf. They push him back. The whip shot is beautiful from Nisha to keep Leaf protected. They top him back up. The heals come through. The rally is now rolling. Leaf, however, will dive right in front of Choice A1's fist. And he ends up pulling down in that fight. Sticky bombs out, but Choice A1 taken out of the sky. Krong will find Monk. He's not using the skirmish continues. Gaga playing low, and he, oh man, flew a little too close to the sun. Maybe he thought he was going to be able to pop it there at the very last second. Ends up dying. Cart now advancing into the courtyard here at point A. It seems like they should just about be able to get this cap.
There were about maybe 3-ish situations there where I saw Gaga's HP go low enough that maybe the primal call would have been correct. Seems like it might have been a team decision not to use it because they were maybe losing anyway, and he was thinking, I'll just delay things. This is where they got to use ultimate, so Krong has definitely used that grab now, and there it is, the primal to follow.
Yep, but they do have the recontest, and Jinmu, he finds Unique. Farway's gone, there's no support to the fight. Monk does fall here on the side of the Chengdu Hunters, but Leave is just clicking heads, gets to Choice A1, and now it's just Krong. He will die. 10 seconds left to go. It seems that this last second contest from the Chengdu Hunters has paid dividends.
Yep, this doesn't look like a final push will happen at all. Unique gets taken down. Choi would love to use his ultimates, but the time will run out, and the Guangzhou charge. Confusion in their brains, confusion in my brain, trying to figure out what on earth they were trying to do on both the attack and defense. Like, how on earth are you thinking? Playing an Echo into Leave's Widowmaker was ever going to be the right call. You could just be playing the Genji if you want to put the pressure onto Leave. Krong sat on his lonesome, trying to push the payload, getting no distance off of that one. I mean, Gaga's confident enough, he's like, I'm not even going to Primal on the death. We're just going to come back and Primal later on the future one. Another developer, Sombra, this time with even less, dare I say, synergy with the composition. Not that it had too much synergy, even on Colosseo. It honestly feels like Guangzhou Charge have possibly one of the most off reads on the meta you could imagine. Seriously, just completely off the meta here, and a lot of stuff needs to be fixed behind the scenes because it's not looking pretty.
Well, certainly is not. Already, though, 2-0 lead here for the side of the Chengdu Hunters, who are looking to speed run their way through their first series of the year. We're just 35 minutes since we went live, guys, and now they are one map away from closing out this set and starting the year off right. We'll see if the Guangzhou Charge can come back, but it would have to be a reverse sweep if they want to get a second match win. Otherwise, they're staring down the barrel of a 1-1 scoreline here in the first 2 days of the season. We're going to have that map 3 coming up in just a little bit. We're headed to King's Row, so don't go anywhere. And we are back, and if you just are tuning in, yeah, the screen is not incorrect. We're going into map 3. It's been a really fast ride here, a very wild one as well, but the Chengdu Hunters find themselves up 2-0, just stomping full hold on Dorado in map 2. They get the overtime comeback push in their first map, Coliseum. And now we get ready to go into King's Row to see if they can just go ahead and make this one of the fastest series that we have ever had. It'll definitely, I think, be probably the record for Overwatch 2 so far. But yeah, they are speed running right now.
Are we finally going to get off Mr. Guangzhou Char's wild ride here? You know, with everything that they're playing, Daisy coming in for Gaga. So, story time. This is kind of where the Chengdu Hunters have ended up on their 6-man roster. They've lost potential, maybe even Rookie of the Year candidate level player of a Predator who's now teamless. Bit of a crime that someone that good is currently teamless, but they picked up an off-tank from Chinese contenders. I'm trying to remember which team he came from. Might have even been from one of the from the Chengdu Academy team, but I'll have to double check on that one. Anyway, Daisy coming in with the off-tank type hero, so no doubt this will be Chengdu playing towards the Zarya. Krong being kept in by the looks of it for the charge as well means we're going to get a Zarya duel. I hope to God we do, because I don't want to see the Diva again.
I think, given that we're going to King's Row with the Zarya, seems to be the most straightforward pick. But then again, Guangzhou Charge have not really been doing too many things that are straightforward. We've been seeing a hell of a lot of Sombra and not many results coming from that. So not really willing to take anything off the table here for what Guangzhou Charge has prepared for us. But excited to see how Daisy is going to perform here in his debut, and whether or not he can help lead the team to that 3-0 victory.
It's big shoes to fill, I think. You know, Chengdu Hunters have had some beloved tank players in the past. We all remember Elsa stepping up big time for the team when Chengdu started to look good. We remember as well Late Young coming in for Elsa when, you know, he ended up retiring. Among with his legendary moments in their first season as well, up against Goats. Gaga, who's still here, who kind of, with fate, pioneered all of the ball meta last year. So Daisy, as the new rookie on the team, who wasn't a part of the original 2022 roster, he was a super late addition, and I just checked, he was part of Team Chaser, which is the academy team for Chengdu Hunters. So they brought him up. It's time for the big debut. Pretty much all the rookies that have debuted so far have been pretty impressive, so, you know, that level of pressure will certainly be there.
Yeah, there's a pretty high bar that has been set so far by the rookies. Fusion, especially just yesterday, really showing off some of that new up-and-coming talent in their DPS roles. So we'll see how Daisy matches up. Looks like we'll have Chengdu Hunters first on the attack here in King's Row. Defensive comp on the side of the Guangzhou Charge develops overall the Soldier 76, and that's something that we give a thumbs up to.
Yeah, they've definitely benched and shelved the Ashe from yesterday, so that's a much better look. Krong starting on the Diva, what you'd enjoy. Choice of one of the better Genjis, if not really just one of the best Genjis that we saw in Apex so far, on that Genji to start things out with. So Jinmu versus Choi on the Genji v Genji, that's what you want to see. It's basically a mirror on both sides, except for Nisha starting on the Brigand step.
Keeping tabs on some of these flank position members of the Guangzhou Charge up on that high ground, pushes through the hotel now. Tries to get the Helix rockets down to far away. To go wide though. He's managed to make a connection.
Oh, Jimmy got a big flank.
Further behind Develop now as far as building up the ult is concerned, and Develop is actually going to get the better of him. Catches him in the head, and now with the support's gone, Jinmu, he will dive into the back, he will find far away, but he is very much disconnected from the rest of the team, and they are going to look to hunt him down.
Yeah, they'll probably get him too, but he is wasting a lot of time. This is going to give the rest of Chengdu the opportunity to go in. So you can see there's about 3 to 4 members of Guangzhou going for this charge, and they've made the call. Guys, we are being pulled away. Look, Nisha is already on point. This is great for Chengdu, because Jinmu is still alive, and Chengdu just got delivered a free point.
Yeah, and now they have to keep looking back behind them to see if he's going to be striking. Jinmu just poking and prodding from behind, throwing out those shurikens. Hasn't fully committed in yet, but it's already 2 ticks snatched up here for the side of the Chengdu Hunters.
Leave asleep.
Dive in on top of Leap. They do manage to find that elimination. Now it's going to be the nano boost out on the choice A1. Finds Nisha, and so far away is the only casualty on the side of the Guangzhou Charge. Seems like they will be able to clean up the rest of the squad not quite cleanly here. They get a good amount of progress there on the point, but it's not going to be the cap.
Really good from far away there as well. He got the sleep onto Lee, which enabled them to get the opening kill rather, to enable the 5v4. And then Choi receives a nano, goes absolutely ham with that one. Doesn't have the blade yet, will have it for this particular fight. So good recovery. They do lose 2 ticks though. Messy from Guangzhou to lose 2 ticks, but at least they maintain control. Nano blade from Monk and Jinmu should be coming up in the next few seconds.
Finally, not going to find anything. Jinmu now has the Dragon Blade and the Nano Boost rolling. Dashes back over to Krong. He's going to get caught up in the grab, but there's no one there to try to capitalize on this pinned Genji.
Oh, choice.
They want now falling low. Dashes in. Still manages the trade up. Gets a kill there onto Monk. Jinmu falling as well. It's going to be the man advantage here for the side of the Guangzhou Charge, but they have to pull back away. Sound Barrier comes out. That's a solo beat for Unique. It's instantly grabbed up. Dolph charging forward here with Attack Visor, tries to get up into the face of Leaf, but the bubbles come through from Daisy. They help keep him alive, and Daisy claims 2 kills. The point will get capped by Chengdu.
And that's kind of the power of the rally coming through as well, the extra HP. Develop actually caught a bit of that Sound Barrier, so not quite a solo coming through from a Unique, but certainly doesn't catch too many members.
Must have got melted off him.
Oh, I mean, he didn't really use too much of it with Develop. He used it with the Visor to get him in, but couldn't quite find the kills, right? That's part of the other issue. It actually looked like maybe Charge were going to be able to hold that one if Develop killed a little bit more. But the Chengdu Hunters, despite waking up Choi Se-hwan, I don't know who did that. Monk would have been, guys, please. I slipped the blade and Genji. You really woke him up, Kung. Really. But aside from that, they still won the point, which is good.
Yeah, typically want to leave him down on the floor. They do not. Charge forward though. Nana goes out onto Krong, pushes straight into the face of Daisy, finds that elimination. Nisha going down as well, and this is a crucial juncture for the Guangzhou Charge to maintain cart control. Now they hold this archway, and we've seen time and time again how difficult it can be for teams to break through this position once it's taken by the defender's side.
Nisha's actually swapped over towards the Lucio here as well. So digging the Brigitte for now. Actually, the Brigitte helps Jinmu out a lot in his, campaign of the Genji. Choice of Wands managed to get the back. Beautiful execution on Monk. That'll be the 5v4 again.
He's looking for a little bit more. Push back there on the Nisha, but he still manages to get right on top of the Lucio. Takes down both of those supports. I see, again, finding a singular kill here onto Develop, but he's going to be able to rejoin the fight rather quickly, given that he's Soldier 76.
Waiting for ultimates to come online. I think really this is going to come down to Nano plus any of the DPS duos. Daisy's close to that grab, so is Krong. If Monk can outpace the grabs, and he does now, the one in Nano pretty quickly. There you go, straight on the lead.
Bubble just going to go ahead and cleanse off that anti-nade as Leaf goes pushing forward. Doesn't even want to use the Visor. He says, no, I'll just hold it for the next fight. Use it dry. Just utilize that extra damage from the Nano Boost. Comes up with some picks. Now he's looking for a little bit more here on the back end. Unique trying to make his escape, cannot. Monk gets a nice little shot woven through, and Choi Se-hwan is going to die on the back end. Helix rockets are perfect, but they don't even get the kill. Leaf will just go ahead and straight up shoot Develop for that elimination.
And it looks like they might still be going. You've got to be a little bit careful here because the tanks are coming online now and the rest of Charge also respawning. In the meantime, they've been solo pushing for quite some time. Monk is finally in the POV and the LOS of all of the members, but a huge amount of stag kills. It's about a perfect stagger there, Kilios, because you kill the last player just as the first one respawns. Jinmu now, it's blade time for him.
Yep, gets the kill there onto Krong. Develop trying to utilize his Nano Boost, but because of that blade, wasn't really able to get into position for it. But the Helix rockets flying to the back. They do manage to find Nisha with that kill, but the supports are taken down just as quickly on the side of the Guangzhou Charge. As Jinmu dashes in, gets that elimination onto Farway. Well, the point does get capped. 2 minutes, 37 seconds here for the final push for Chengdu Hunters.
And Daisy actually goes for a solo grab onto Unique there. I think it was one of the only members actually touching the payload. Could have been risky because if Unique has a sound barrier, that would have been a wasted grab, but they managed to get Unique. They got far away later as well, so both the supports usually ends up being a fight win. It is, however, time for the ults from the Charge to come on through, and it comes through good.
Yep, grab pretty good. Snatches up 2 people there on the cart, and they both end up falling. Jinmu now just trying to dash out the safety deflections coming through from both of these Genjis, but Choi Se-hwan able to find that kill, gets right in behind Monk. And Krong gets set up for the finishing blow. So good little staggers here on the back end. Now it's just 2 minutes remaining for Chengdu Hunters with not too much to work with at the moment, but support ults are coming up soon.
I mean, look at the Charge, though. They have everything to work through, minus the grab, and, well, the Nano's being built up as well, but the point is, super cheap fight wins here. They only use the one ultimate, they get the W, they can save the blade and the Visor for this fight now. It's going to have to come through as well. This should be support ultimate plus sleeve going in on the Visor versus everything from Charge. Develop goes in first.
Okay. All right. I think Monk just not realizing that there was a ninja right behind him. Ends up falling. Choi Se-hwan gets a nice early pick. Sound barrier from Nisha in response to try to continue to propel the Hunters forward. Leave is going to be good for one more kill with the tac visor. Now just run out, though. Develop picks up Jinmu. Anti-nade slowing them up just a little bit, but they do buy a good amount of space, and they can bring the cart around this last corner.
It's going to be the hero Widow coming on through for Develop now. He's seen Flair do this a couple of years ago. He wants to make a hero play this time as well. I mean, he just, I think, used the visor anyway, so it's a little bit whatever. Choice of One still has that blade available, which will definitely want. Nano blade should be on the menu. There it is.
Shot. That one's not going to connect, but yep, Nano blade does come through. Puts himself right underneath everybody on the side of the Chengdu Hunters. Choice of One comes up with 2. Unique going to be the only casualty here on the side of the charge. It's very fantastically won fight here for Guangzhou. Right in the 11th hour as there's 35 seconds remaining on this defense.
Oh man, like you see Choice of One's POV there doing 360s. You put the Chengdu Hunters in the blender, press the blend button, and he's just spinning around with his blade. Alrighty then, like you said, time running out, but the ultimates are on the side of the Chengdu Hunters, so they've got one good fight. Could make this into a pretty solid OT push. They've typically kind of struggled in the early phases of points, but they've succeeded later on. So can they do that again? Yes, so far.
Jinmu, blade of his own, far away, taken down. Krong with nowhere to go, ends up getting picked as well, but Choice One to develop are putting in some work. They do manage to find 2 picks. Sleeve and Monk have fallen, but the cart is not being contested, and it will glide through crucially with 1.1 seconds remaining, Avril.
And a really good boot from Nisha down the end there as well. I think you had Unique trying to fly out in for the final touch, but Nisha said no. They might have actually both booped each other, but in any case, Nisha and Daisy will ride the payload to the finish line off the back of Jinmu, killing everybody anyway. And no, again, as we are the C9 police, I'm going to call that one. I'm going to decide that one as a definite no C9 for me. Not a C9 because, well, Chengdu were winning anyway. They'd already got a successful blade. Pretty sure they were going to cap. So, OT push.
I do agree
seconds?
with you, but I would also like to see the instant replay, you know?
Yeah, you want to get the you want to just get the footage, you know, just scroll through the footage frame by frame just to be sure. I'm like the sideline ref, and you're the dude in the booth with the TV. What are they called again?
Yeah. I don't know.
I
couldn't
the
tell
TV
you.
ref.
I don't watch that much
TV
sports ball.
You don't? Oh, okay, neither do I. Apparently.
Only when there's big games on, but even then,
I know. There's a 10-yard line.
That diehard.
I know that much.
There is indeed a 10-yard line.
Yeah.
The question is, do you know what a yard is?
Yeah, it's like almost a meter, but it's a freedom meter is what it is. It's an imperial freedom meter. So you could have just used a meter, but you're like, you know what? I'm gonna use a yard. It's the length of a yardstick. I'm pretty sure it's the length of a yardstick, but whoever decided that was what a yardstick should be in terms of its length, I don't know. Seems arbitrary to me.
Here's the question. We've been talking down the Ashe a little bit from what we've seen so far. Leave is now playing it. Does that make you feel any better about this pick?
But if the MVP picks the Ashe, is it a good pick? I mean, Shy kind of made it work yesterday. Kind of made it work. I'm just saying every single time someone's tried the Ashe on this AT defense, it's gone really poor. It will come down to can Develop kind of out-aim him because, well, the first shot would say yes. Well, the Widow does outplay the Ashe for the most part.
All right, well, great opening kill there from Develop as Guangzhou look to have a fast take on point A. They're going to start contesting this here, but while Develop's attention is occupied there by Leave, Jinmu comes in off the flank, passes through for the kill. Now, however, still starting to take up a bit on the point, but Jinmu comes up with yet another one. Now he's trying to get on top of Faraway. Throws the deflect, takes a shot, goes back into the statue, grabs the mini pack, and Develop will get him in the head in the end.
Yeah, Develop's got a number of frags. It looked like Chengdu was stabilizing, but just as that was happening, a solo kill from Develop comes on through another headshot as well. I believe that was on a Daisy. That's going to push Chengdu further back. So, Develop and the rest of Charge, they're just steadily getting more and more space. Develop has just got these frags under lock.
Yep, comes up with another kill on the Monk yet again. Leave does find Choice One. So I'm having the easiest go of it so far here with this attack. Genji, and yet again, Jinmu just comes out of the blue. A bit of a jump scare there for the Widowmaker player.
Krong's got grabbed.
Off guard, finds an elimination, and it seems like the Chengdu Hunters may have just been able to stabilize. Krong, though, still high energy. Trying to get the bubbles out of Daiji. Does still have this grab as well. They will just be able to get the kill, so now they can continue back over towards point A.
Yeah, the best part about this is he hasn't actually used the grab, which means if Chengdu want to contest now, that's going to be a perfect grab opportunity. Daisy is 13% behind, really tells you the difference between Krong and Daisy's damage output so far. Leave has an Ashe. I do think that Chengdu should go for this, but they're waiting for respawners. The Bulb will be the first person to touch, and Krong will have to grab.
Alright, here comes the Bob, right into the back of the point. And the sleep will come through. I actually think the Bob might have gone too far, so he's not really contesting it, but either way.
As well.
Yeah, whip shots there from Develop. They pursue deep. Nisha gets right on top of the rally, rolling, finishes him with a whip shot, finishes off far away with the little knockback there on the shield bash. Chengdu Hunters have managed to stabilize.
I think the Nisha break pick is actually really good on the defense. It was okay on the attack, but defensively you can enable these brawls so effectively. So if Daisy and Nisha play together a little bit more, you can definitely put Yozari ahead of Krong, even though I think Krong has statistically been outperforming. Daisy has a grab this time. This is a real troublesome moment for the charge. They will be able to counter it with a sound barrier, but can they get the damage in there? Development, he's hit shots, and he does want it to the MVP.
Yeah, he gets it, but now good luck. Here's the Dragon Blade. Up here from Jinmu, but so far everyone's been able to pull away from him. He doesn't really get a single slash in for damage. I don't know if he knows the developers behind him. He certainly will now. Spotted him heading back inside of the house here. And he's in a bit of a pickle, so he has to go ahead, dash away, but Develop gets him in the head all the same. Now the blade is out from Choi Se-wan, looking to finally break open the point and get this cap in. Nisha falling low. Two sides there. Does manage to stay alive. Leaving the dynamite. Will get developed off screen. Jose Juan right up into his face with the sound barrier shield there to back him up. So some additional kills, but Krong has now fallen. The cap is so close to coming in. Just 5.2% left to go here for the side of the charge. They get this point A, but they're starting to lose members. Jose Juan gone. Unique is dead. And yet again, Chengdu Hunters barely managed to hold on to this. They deny the cap from coming in, and now it's just 12 seconds remaining.
I mean, Daisy stayed alive. The grab actually really saves him there. Choice of one even eats a nade, so his blade is no good. Leave comes back to the Sojourn. This is our first Apex Sojourn ever. It comes through in the OT. It's a 5v4 development. Choi have got to pull it through. And here we go, Leave. What do you got for us?
All right, he's going to send the nade out over towards Develop. Gets a little bit of damage onto him, but has to relocate as that infra site is rolling. Develop looking for a target.
Big nade.
That the deflect is rolling. He gets a great little dink there. Helps take down Daisy. Low HP here on both of these GPS players, but they don't stay on the point.
Who was alive?
Can't contest it any longer.
Who was alive? I think they were losing anyway, but you know, somebody's got to make the attempt happen. They look like they were on the. They look like they were on their way out. To be honest with you, it's
yeah,
swift 3-0. You did say it was going to be a fast series, and it was certainly that. What really kind of annoys me a little bit is we saw some great developed Widowmaker coming through on that attack, but he could have been playing that at so many other points in this series. Could have been playing it on Dorado! Dorado would have been perfect for that Widowmaker to come through. Again, you want to challenge Leave. Don't throw Choice One's Echo into Leave. Throw Develop into Leave instead. That, you know, the Widow and Widow would be much better. Then you look at the King's Row. To be honest with you, Guangzhou had some good defensive moments, probably could have held at various points, but Chengdu's slow push, meticulous push up, got some decent fights out of them. Jinmu actually played well on the Genji here. I still think Choice One ended up being the flashier Genji, got the higher value, but Chengdu as a team operated better, supported Jinmu better, and therefore I think that gave Jinmu a lot of success to play through, and he will be our player of the match.
That he will be. We'll go ahead and pull that up on your screen. But yeah, what a fantastic showing from him the whole way throughout. He sticks with the Genji the whole time, and there's no reason to swap off it. It's been one of the biggest meta picks so far at the start of the season, and he is playing this absolutely to a T.
I will say, though, the Colosseo, he played it for like maybe one fight, then went to the Reaper. That was probably the one time I was like, no, I don't know about this one, Jinmu. It didn't look like it was going too well, but definitely the last two maps. You look at what happened on Dorado there. Jinmu had a great time. You look at what happens on King's Row again. Had a really good showing. And this time it wasn't even like, oh, well, you know, Choi's ignoring him. Choi's on the Echo ignoring him because he's after Leave instead. There's some Jinmu and Choi actually have to play against each other. And even then, Jinmu holding his own. So decent stats to come on through. Very strong performance. That's actually what you want out of someone like Jinmu, where, you know, obviously criticism when you have a Pritter who, again, could have been a very strong candidate for a Rookie of the Year, like a very strong rookie player from Team Chaser, not getting kept on this roster, but Jinmu was kept on the roster. Jinmu really needs to make a plea and really needs to make an argument as to why he is the member that deserves to be on this team, and he needs to have good showings. And well, today is first on that list of having good showings. So well done to Chengdu.
Yeah, we weren't sure, realistically what to expect from the Chengdu Hunters. We knew that they were still an immense amount of talent on this roster, but given some of the turmoil surrounding the team coming into the season, we weren't sure how they were going to look. How much practice have they got? Is everyone, focusing on the game and, playing with clear heads? Yeah, absolutely. I'd say that they are. Granted, Guangzhou Charge, didn't have that strong of a showing yesterday. Seems like they still have a lot to work on. They have these moments, these glimmers of brilliance that we're seeing, develop there with that Widowmaker on that last map, Choi Se-won pretty much the whole way throughout. They just haven't been able to bring everything together with perfect cohesion and then sustain it. It still feels like there's some hope here, but for the Chengdu Hunters, it's clear as day that cohesion never really left, even with swapping out Gaga, bringing Daisy in for his debut game. He got bullied around a couple of times there on King's Row, but for the most part still looked like a very solid member of this team. So looking forward to seeing the continued development of him and the rest of the Chengdu Hunters on their run. But a really nice start here as they kick off their 2022 season with a 3-0 speed run victory. We went live an hour ago, and they got that series done. So fantastic for them. But we're going to have a little bit more discussion about this first series in a couple minutes when we come back, so don't go anywhere.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by Upper Deck, the official trading card of the Overwatch League. And by TeamSpeak, the official voice supplier of the Overwatch League.
And we are back. That series was just too quick, and we're not ready to go into our second match yet, so we figured we would have to come back in here and discuss a little bit more, buy some time so that Guangzhou and Shanghai can get ready. Now, it's our game break here. We're going to go ahead and relive a little bit of what just briefly occurred in front of our very eyes, Avril. Any takeaways here off of this series, either for Chengdu or for Guangzhou Charge?
Oh, where do I even get started? Any takeaways? Let me go through the list I was writing down on my notepad, theoretically, or metaphorically the entire time. So, our first 0-point lockout in APAC so far. I know it's only been 2 days, but Guangzhou Charge do not get a single point across 3 maps. It is a bit of a disaster. Once again, I think a key takeaway for me is that Charge still have not figured out how the hell to play Escort. Yesterday, we had the Route 66 incident. We all remember what happened. Bit of a meme. Go back and watch it. It is pretty funny at the end of the day. But here on Dorado, what is going on, Charge? They just are, in my opinion, playing the complete wrong heroes. And I know what's going to, I know what this is. It's meta slave Avril again, peddling the meta propaganda. But so far, I haven't really been wrong, to be honest with you. I think the Diva had no value here when Krong pulled it through. Develop could have just been playing the Widow up against Leaf. He was towards the end there, but I'm saying he probably shouldn't have been playing the Sombra. Choi came out with the Echo versus Leaf as well when he could have just been playing the Genji. The Echo is fine, but not when there's a Widowmaker in the other team that's actually pretty threatening. Charge did reasonably better on King's Row, but I think at this point, Chengdu are able to show that even with Gaga out and being able to put in Daisy on the Zarya, we're still getting them some really good results. And we have this interview from GM Luke of the Chengdu Hunters in the offseason saying part of the reason why we wanted to get Daisy is because we needed to complement Gaga's hero pools, and that to me speaks a couple things. As one, they really just want to play some off tanks, and the whole Zarya thing that was rumored that APAC was playing a lot of Zarya. I guess that it's kind of true because Chengdu want to play some Zarya too, and well, they wanted someone that was not called Gaga to be playing the Zarya.
Well, that's a lot to unpack, but I appreciate it all the same. I think for me, the biggest takeaway from this series is that Sojourn has a 100% win rate in APAC.
True.
So, there you go. Locked in. Thank you, Leave. You made it happen. He made it work. The MVP knows what he's up to, what he's doing. But, yeah, maybe we'll get to see some more of that down the line. For now, very much just a last-second, I need to get to the point quickly type pick, it would seem. But even then, still found a couple kills, still found some decent impact there in those final moments of King's Row. But, guys, that's just the beginning. We're just one series into our second day of APAC action. Coming up next, we have the Hangzhou Spark getting ready to go up against the Shanghai Dragons, who had a pretty rough go of it yesterday versus the Fusion. We'll see if they can bounce back, put some map wins on the board, or if Spark are going to be moving up 2-0 here at the start of the season. Don't go anywhere. That action kicks off in just a few minutes. Alrighty, and we are back and just about to go into our second series of the evening. Guangzhou Spark getting ready to go up against the Shanghai Dragons. Shanghai, we saw them yesterday, banger opening match, them versus the Fusion. Didn't have that great of a showing. Seemed like even with keeping Wiley all of the same people on the team, the cohesion is not up to snuff thus far here in Overwatch 2. Guangzhou Spark able to get their win versus the Seoul Dynasty as well at the end of the day yesterday. Now looking to add a second win under their belts.
So you have kind of two interesting results from yesterday, right? I mean, I'm sure all our pick'ems were boomed yesterday. I only got one game right, and that was the LA Valiant Guangzhou Charge game. So you were talking about it being a banger series to start things out with. It was a banger for Philly, not so much for Shanghai. I think they were behind the pace. The Philly rookies dominated. The Shanghai veterans, and not just veterans, we're talking championship players here. Hangzhou, similarly, they beat championship caliber players on Seoul. You have two-time champion Smurf there with Prophet, who's also an MVP himself. So it was a very surprising but welcome result from the Hangzhou Spark, and now they have another Titan to perhaps slay. Shanghai don't look like they're up to speed just yet, and Hangzhou Spark, backed by Xiao, Alpha Yi, Burner, Irony, and Super Rich, have been looking pretty dominant to start the day, or to start the opening weekend with. Shai and Alpha Yi in particular as this DPS duo, so clean. Shai still as good as he was last year, and Alpha Yi, honestly, a rookie, but a veteran at the same time. He's been around the scene for a super long time, but this is his first year in the Overwatch League and already making waves.
Yep. Super Rich is just having some fun there with the camera, it would seem. But yeah, honestly, pretty impressive showing from these guys out yesterday. I definitely, if I had done my pick'ems, would have been boomed there. But hey, if you don't do them, you can't get your pick'ems wrong. So maybe I'm just being a little bit more big brain. But here's our starting five at the side of the Shanghai Dragons. See if they can have a better day in the lobby this time. Outlet, Flutter, Fate, Lee Jae Gon, and Izayaki.
And the important thing to note here is that Fate will be starting over Void. So yesterday we had Void coming in for the opening push map. I believe it was New Queen Street, and I had some comments to make that I felt like it would have been a better map for a main tank player to be coming on through. I mean, that's maybe a little debatable because Dallas Fuel will tell you, no, just play Hanbin on the Zarya the entire way through and you can't go wrong. So Dallas Fuel in the NA region definitely pushing the Zarya heavily, and you're seeing a lot of that Zarya come through on the Apex side as well. And now Burner is actually going to be starting on the Spark side, most likely on the Zarya. So it's almost just like this kind of, just the swap over, because Shanghai felt like Void wasn't doing enough in the opening map, so they give Fate a run. Maybe Winston is going to be the choice for them. Maybe Winston is going to be the answer. I do question a little bit about the DPS side of things. Are they going to be playing any Genji today? Because Who Are You looked pretty damn good on the Genji, but he's not going to be starting just yet.
Yeah, I mean, there's a chance we get to see him come out yet again. I mean, Fleta in his own time, has of course put up some fantastic figures with the Genji, so maybe he himself will just pilot that pick if they feel like it's going to be the correct play. Here's to see what the map pool is going to look like for them as well. Where we will head up, looks like it's going to be Colosseo to start, then into Gibraltar for Escort, Eichenwald for Hybrid, Ijong for Control, and then New Queen Street if we can go all the way to 5. The biggest question mark for me is, do we see more of that Fleta Reaper pick? Because it was not finding too much success versus Fusion yesterday.
I mean, worse still is if you go Reaper here, then you should have actually played Void. Because you want to play the Reaper and the Zarya together, right? It doesn't really make a lot of sense to me to play the Reaper with a Winston when those two heroes don't really do anything to support each other. There's no inherent synergy there, aside from, I guess both heroes just want to dive in, but if you're going to do that, you might as well be on a Genji or a Tracer, right? So, Spark are going to be doing probably the same thing as yesterday. Reaper Zarya, don't get baited by the Shy Sojin. He was playing a bit of that just in his own time in the Alpha and the Beta, but most likely just going to be the Soldier coming through again. We're looking towards the Shanghai Dragons. Fleta Genji. Yeah, it's going to be Fleta Genji. So the call here from the Shanghai Dragons is not going to play Who Are You. We're going to trust the Fleta Genji. Let's see how this works.
I mean, honestly, that would never really cause any pause for me, though granted that it is Who Are You and just how legendary of a Genji he is, I guess it makes him feel a little bit more bizarre. But Fleta is the meta typically, as the saying goes. Let's see if he can reestablish that for himself here. As Lip already can open things up nicely, finds the snipe there onto Shy. Taking him down in that Soldier battle. Fleta, though, does get jumped on, and he is sent into the stratosphere by Alpha Yi.
He's quite low himself, but maybe he gets out. No, not quite. Izayaki plus a little bit of damage from Lip will clean that one up, and this is Grand Finals MVP Lip. Put the damage and the hurt in nice and early, and like I'll be honest with you as well, I don't think Flitter playing Genji is a real concern at all. It's more so just that Who Are You had such a great performance on it yesterday, right? So Flitter kind of has to live up to one of his teammates' performances already on the second day. In Shanghai, generally speaking as well, the 0-3 loss, a lot of pressures the championship team to make a comeback afterwards. So Lip leading the charge here, Shy dying early, Lip is nearly on Visor, Shy still a little while away.
Lip jumped on there for just a moment, responds with a nice little bit of burst damage onto Shy, forcing his position back, and he doesn't nearly have that attack visor up, but now he's going to have to retreat a bit for his bio nade to expire. Actually playing on a little bit of ring around the rosy, getting back in around the opposite side of this bot, but they're going to have to contest this.
Man available.
It's just some nice little distance picked up right now for the side of the Spark. Bot continuing forward, Flooded trying to get in on top of Irony, manages to do so, gets the kill. Lip finds Alpha Yi. That's the fight broken open here for the side of the Shanghai Dragons, looking for these follow-up kills, which they will be able to find. Very nicely done here by Fleta and Fate to pick up those final two. Bernard is just stuck in the corner with nowhere to go.
Just a general outpacing of ult charge here for the side of Shanghai Dragons. The only member that hasn't outpaced the other one is Lee Jae-gon versus Super Rich, and that's mostly because Lee Jae-gon, if you saw in the peripheral of Lip's POV, was kind of aiding Lip and diving on these characters on the flank, so he was playing a bit of Reddit Lucio and not quite ground Lucio with the team, which is why he's slightly behind. It's actually caught up by now, but the nano into Flitter, giving him the capability to frag. Lip's on the bridge already. He's looking for the buys. He's going for it.
Yeah, they're just playing right up in front of the spawn here, and he's going to pop it. Alpha Yi goes down. Sound Barrier going to be forced now by Super Rich to try to keep the rest of the team alive, and Fate somehow narrowly escapes. He was anti to have about 15 HP remaining. He manages to make it out with his life intact. Shy now going to be jumped on as they look to counter-aggress against this tack visor. Force his position back, deny some sight lines, and the bot has continued to push. Now 44 meters established for the Dragons.
And the grab is going to be the difference maker here because Lee Jae-gon used his sound barrier. Probably shouldn't have actually done that. Nano boost coming through onto Fate now. Lee Jae-gon having fallen over. There's still an opportunity for Hangzhou to ult, but they're being very cautious.
They're holding on to it. Seems like they feel like they can just go ahead and win this out now that Lee Jae-gon was picked. And that would be the correct call. The cleanup will come through. Lee Jae-gon the only one standing as he just now respawns. And they still hold on to these ults, and that's pretty critical here for the Hangzhou Spark to try to retake a lead because they have that Death Blossom to couple in with the graph.
I mean, it's actually huge they don't spend anything. I thought maybe they'd be forced to, but no. Hold on to the ultimates. They can play through the ultimates now. Grab and Bionade combo should do it. Nothing to really block it out. And Shanghai, I think, actually overcommitted ultimates. You actually saw on the bridge 3 members, Lip, Flitter, Fate, all use ultimates at the same time. Then obviously the Sound Barrier being expanded towards the end. Could be a flanking Death Blossom here.
Sitting around the back, maybe looking to insert himself right into the middle of the enemy team, but hasn't found too prime an opportunity to pop it. But again, with Lee Jae-gon dead, really need to commit it to the fight right now, especially as Fleta gives his life just to try to get that kill onto Irony. Just build up his Dragon Blade in the process, but it seems like the Spark should be able to get this pushing pretty soon. But as I say that, Alpha Yi, he's not allowed to exit. The Bionade clips him in the back. He ends up falling down, so it's one less DPS, but now the tank gone. Bernard throws the grab in right around the corner, helps lock in a couple people, and Lip will fall.
Alpha Yi is doing something funny there because he's TPing on the bridge, then just coming straight back down anyway. Maybe he's looking for some positioning on the back line, but he needs to help his team because Fate was contesting the payload the entire time, and you have 5 ultimates. You did have 5 ultimates, the Hangzhou Spark, and they were just sitting on them. Like, you gotta use these guys. You must be getting aggressive. Here comes Nano now with the visor.
They try to get the sleep through, can't manage to make it happen. Flooded with the blade out, has to try to get to the Sound Barrier shielding as well, and he's unable to do so. Shy in the meantime, though, the attack visor picks up 2, he gets down to 2
Great
HP,
bubble.
and then he grabs the Mega Pack. Manages to hold on to his life, and now this is a great opportunity here for the Spark to take the lead.
Yeah, they should be able to get this cap. When I say cap, they'll take the lead, like you sort of say here. The cap will be a little bit more difficult. Will come down to what Alpha Yi can do with this Death Blossom. He's already on, kind of the back foot. This will be it right now with the bubble. Huge!
Right into the middle of them. Comes up with 2 as Lip and Izayaki completely evaporate. Lee Jae-gon trying to peel, trying to push him away, but Alpha Yi is just taking names left, right, and center. They clean up Fate. That is the team kill extended there. As Fleta just has to int and reset here over on the bot while he takes his little break.
And that's going to be the cap there as well. So checkpoint has been found. More ultimates on the Shanghai Dragon side get to be used, and Alpha Yi solo Lip. That's an awful death for the Shanghai Dragons. They're just losing everybody.
Yeah, it's starting to really fall apart. It's really concise and tightly played here by everybody at the beginning. starting to slip through their fingers. They still have 2.5 minutes to try to counteract this push. They need to get control, and with everybody getting picked one after the other like this, it's just impossible for them to group up and recollect themselves.
Hey, Lip is just dying in the open. Like, I don't know, is he not being supported? Is he just standing still? But he is dying straight away in all of these fights, and it's costing the Shanghai Dragons.
Nanos Use goes out onto Fate, shoves them away from the bot for just a little bit. It's going to start retreating back over towards the initial spawn point. See that Spark seemingly happy to concede that, and then just recontest the bot before it makes it to the midway point.
It's a huge mountain to climb though, 92 meters, and forget the 5108. It's the fact that they have to push basically the whole 92. Here comes Shove the Visor again. Instant deletion to Lee Jae-gon, but it'll lose the Visor to Flitter.
Yeah, but I think he actually just destroyed the sound barrier. I think Lee Jae-gon was trying to drop the beat and didn't get it.
Was he?
There was so much damage going out that nobody had shielding for very long. Either way, a huge pick-off there in the end. That allows them to maintain control of the bot, because at this point, they're more than happy to just keep the bot contested in this position.
Okay, that might have been an Ajax, and I'll have to go back and check that a little bit later on. That would be second Ajax that we've seen in 2 days here. Lip with the opening kill into Irony this time around.
Graf gonna come through. Fate, though, happy to sit in there and just continue to zap people. Comes up with 2 kills for himself and even had the primal. Decides not to use it there on the back end as they confirm the fight victory. Lip will just clean up a couple more kills, and this is where Shanghai Dragons need to push this through, get it over the line, and take the lead if they want this map win.
They have no fate though, that's the issue, because they won the fight with casualties. I mean, that happens. You will take some casualties when you win. It's very difficult to make anything happen, and it happens with anybody dying. I think the only safe member dying is maybe Lip, because you can sprint back, but if anyone else dies, it's pretty rough. So now they have Fate back, but you'll notice when Fate comes back, the rest of Hangzhou have arrived.
They have Fate playing up on the bridge, and he's just going to get taken down. He doesn't pop the primal. He thinks that the healing is going to be enough. He thinks maybe he's going to get an Ana boost, but he does not. Deflection going to be used. The bubble goes out. They try to keep Irony alive, but Fleta still manages to slice and dice his way to 2 kills. He's looking for a little bit more. Shy, no HP, does get caught there by Izayaki, so they still manage to win out the fight. As Alpha Yeet gets taken down at the very end of this. Pushing forward now, but still 30 meters left to go just to tie it up. The bot will take his rest as they get the forward spawn.
And thankfully the rest of the Shanghai Dragons managed to get those kills. Fate's actually returned now, so just in time as well, because if the OT happened as he died, it would have taken so long for Fate to rejoin. This is going to be critical. Are we going to see the second OT win today on push? 2 in a row.
They're looking for it. They saw Chengdu do it. They want to do it themselves. Bionade there onto Fate as he pops the primal range. And now he's going to be taking a nap. Sound barrier goes up from Super Rich. As Alfie looks for a target here for this Death Blossom. Takes the Wraith Walk out to safety. Lip with attack visor does find Irony, but now he's going to go dive into the back line, and Lip ends up killing himself off. Lee Jae-gon going to fall as well. Izayaki, though, cleans up the enemy Reaper, but it's all crumbling now here unless Fleta can pull up the clutch of the century, and he cannot. Ends up going down. The bot will start walking in the opposite direction, but it's a team kill for the Spark and a map win as they take Coliseum.
97 meters, I think it was, or 90-something meters. It's just too insurmountable for even the mighty Shanghai Dragons. Big difference between this and I think the OT comeback that Chengdu did is they only needed to cap, what was it, 67.51 meters or something like that, so a lot more doable than 90 meters. Also towards the end of the last fight, Lip somehow either killing himself or going off the map. I mean, that's just one death that Shanghai definitely could not afford among multiple other things that definitely went wrong there for Shanghai Dragons. And a lot of it just does come down to the fact that as you're pushing up, you know, getting reinforcements in, even getting Fate in the couple times that he died slows down the team quite significantly. So, well played by the Hangzhou Spark. Alpha Yi ended up, I think, getting a lot of value on that replay at the end of the day, so that was good to see.
Yeah, I think Lip just straight up threw the Helix rockets into the Reaper when he saw the Death Blossom coming through and was just so low HP that he killed himself off. But
also,
hard to say. That's just what I would suspect. But man, what a start here. Back and forth between these two teams. They make it close in the end, but they can't get the OT finish.
Last thing I'll say before we go to break here is that Lee Jae-gon did actually Ajax that one. Shy killed Lee Jae-gon before the beat landed. There you go.
Well, unlucky, as they say. I think that's a technical term for it. But, guys, that's one map out of the way. We still have plenty more coming up. Next is going to be Watch Point Gibraltar for our escort map. We'll see if Shanghai Dragons can tie this up. So do not go anywhere.